Jai Shri Gurudev. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Ravian, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management, BGS IMS, Chikballapur. Dear students, in this video I am going to explain the problem under computation of taxable income from business. Here is the question. Mr. Ramesh is the owner of a business. His profit and loss account for the year ending 31st/3/2019 is as follows. Compute income from business. See, Mr. Ramesh is the assessee, so he has given with profit and loss account, which is prepared by Mr. Ramesh, the two for the year ending 31st/3/2019. From the following profit and loss account, we need to prepare or we need to compute the taxable amount of business income. Okay, yes, see, the simple thing, in order to solve the business income from business problems, so you should understand that profit and loss account. So under debit side of the profit and loss account, expenses is recorded, and under credit side of the profit and loss account, incomes are recorded. If any, that is a debit side, if any business expenses is recorded, just ignore. If any non-business, which means inadmissible expenses is recorded, that has to be add back to the net profit, which means you need to taken into consideration in add items. And then credit side, if any business incomes is given, just ignore. If any non-business incomes or tax-free incomes is given under credit side of the profit and loss account, you need to less or taken into consideration in less items. Okay, so this is the thing. And we'll come to adjustments. In adjustments, if any item or adjustment relating to a expense, that might be a admissible or inadmissible, so you need to taken into consideration as per the adjustment. Okay, so now let me explain the question. Say debit side, rent. So here there are some items, rent, which is inadmissible. To establishment charges, it is also admissible business expense. General charges, admissible. Household expenses, it is not admissible, it is inadmissible expenses. So inadmissible expenses is given under debit side. So what you have to do is you have to add back to net profit. So in add items, that is in inadmissible expenses debited in profit and loss account, so under that you have to write this item, household expenses, 6,000 rupees, 6,500 rupees. And next, commission. Commission is admissible. Reserve for bad debts. See, any reserves or provisions, any reserve or any provision is treated as inadmissible business expense. So that this reserve for bad debts is inadmissible, so that this item is to be add back to the net profit. Add items alli tagobeku. Then advertisement. See, advertisement is admissible if the advertisement expenses regarding a political party or any other advertisement in lithos, like that, so that has to be considered as a inadmissible. So advertisement is admissible now. And then repair to house property. So repair house property is inadmissible business expense. It does not relate to a business, so that it has to be add back to the net profit. Then income tax. So income tax or any direct tax is always inadmissible business expense, so that it also be add back to the net profit. So you should consider that in a add items. Then depreciation. See, so only the term depreciation is given, that is understood as inadmissible. If under debit side, depreciation is allowed. If depreciation allowed is given, then it is admissible, but only the term depreciation is given, it is treated as inadmissible. Bari depreciation anta matra kottidre ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇನ್ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಆಡ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ಅಲೋಯಬಲ್ ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಬಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರು, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈಗ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಬಲ್ expenditure, so that you have to add back to the net profit. And then net profit ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, net profit is rupees 4,02,000. okay, so that 4,02,000 you need to write at the starting while answering the question. okay, so this is what the debit side. Now come to credit side. So under credit side 3 items is given. See, under credit side, so we may, or that account may include business incomes, non-business incomes and tax-free incomes along with gross profit. okay, see, if business incomes is given, just ignore. If non-business incomes and tax-free incomes is given, you have to consider that items in a less items, like non-business or tax-free incomes credited in profit and loss account, so that has to be deducted from the net profit. Then only you will get a real net profit of the company, or taxable, real true taxable income from a business, so that you have to deduct that. Now gross profit, just ignore that gross profit. Then interest on government securities. See, interest on government securities is tax-free business income, tax-free income, so that that has to be deducted. Next, rent from house property, it is non-business income, so that is rent from house property. It is comes under income from house property, not in the head income from business, so that it is a non-business income, so that you have to deduct, or you have to consider in less items. And now the total is 6 lakh rupees. The profit and loss account total is 6 lakh. That doesn't matter. And next, adjustments. Look out the adjustments. So here the adjustments is, there are two adjustments. First one is actual bad debts. Actual bad debts amount rupees 2,000. See, bad debts is admissible business expenditure. If that bad debts is given in the adjustment, that means the admissible business expense is not debited. ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಬಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೆಬಿಟೆಡ್ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್, ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್. okay, you have to deduct from the net profit. So now this amount 2,000 rupees has to be considered in less items. And second one is depreciation for the year amounted to rupees 6,000. See, I already explained you, if depreciation only is given under debit side, that is inadmissible, that has to be add back to the net profit. If the depreciation is given in the adjustments, that is understood as depreciation is allowed, allowable depreciation. See, the depreciation for the year that amounted to rupees 6,000. So this is considered as allowable depreciation, which is not being debited in the profit and loss account. So that you need to consider in less items depreciation for the year 6,000 rupees. Less items al tagobeku. Okay, so this is a question. So now let me explain the answer. See, very simple thing. So add items, first you have to write the net profit, then 5 add items and 5 less items, then finally you will get a taxable income from business. Okay, so very simple it is. So now this is answer. Let me explain the answer. See, we already know that, so for each and every solution or answer you need to mention the heading. You have to write the heading compulsorily, that is computation of taxable income from business. So this is question regarding taxable income from business, so that you have to write computation or calculation of taxable income from business. And the name of assessee is Mr. Ramesh, and the status, residential status is resident. Assessment year is 2019-20, previous year is 2018-19. Now the answer, we will go to answer now. See here the particulars, amount. So in the first, at the starting, you have to compulsorily write the net profit. net profit as per profit and loss account. So the net profit as per profit and loss account, it is 4,02,000 rupees, which is mentioned in the profit and loss account, okay, under debit side. So that has to be recorded here. And next, add items. There are 5 items as I mentioned, okay. See, the first one is inadmissible expenses debited in profit and loss account. Inadmissible expenses in the sense non-business expenses. So that expenses does not relate to business, or the income tax act not considered those expenses as business expenses. So that is called as inadmissible, okay. So inadmissible expenses, as I explained in the question, so first is household expenses, that is 6,500, reserve for bad debts 5,000 rupees, repair house property, that is 15,000 rupees, and income tax 20,000 rupees, depreciation 10,000 rupees. It is all given in the debit, under debit side of the profit and loss account. So debit side ಅಲ್ಲಿ inadmissible ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇತ್ತು ಆ ಫುಲ್ ಅಮೌಂಟನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಬಂದರೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡದೆ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೆ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸೇ 2. ಸೊ ಆ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ taken as nil. Then over valuation of opening stock, so it is not there in the question, so that taken as nil. Then under valuation of closing stock, it is also not there in the question, so it is also taken as nil. And lastly, notional loss. So notional loss also is not there, so you have to consider nil. Then the total of all these items is 56,000 rupees. 56,000 total add items. Then we will go to less items. So there are 5 items as like add items. There are 5 items as less items. So one is admissible expenses not debited in profit and loss account. Admissible, so andre admissible expenses andre business related, or the income tax act decided that expenses as business expenses, so those are called as a admissible expenses. So admissible expenses not debited in the sense, so you might have find these items in adjustments ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಇವು. ನಾಟ್ ಡೆಬಿಟೆಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ದೆನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ admissible expenses is not debited but given in the adjustments, you have to deduct, okay. So here bad debts, that is 2,000 rupees given in adjustment. Depreciation for the year 6,000 rupees is given in the adjustment, so you have to consider here. And next, second one is business or non-business or tax-free incomes credited in profit and loss account. If any non-business incomes or if any tax-free incomes credited in the profit and loss account, that items also be deducted from the net profit. So here, as we shown in the question, interest on government securities, it is tax-free, so that deducted. Rent from house property, it is non-business income, so that deducted, okay. And these are the 2 items which are not related to the business. And then over valuation of closing stock. See, first ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓವರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕು ಆಡ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓವರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಷ್ನಲ್ ಲಾಸು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಷ್ನಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್, okay. So here also that items is not there in the question, so that taken as nil. And the total of less items is 58,000 rupees. 58,000 rupees. So if you deduct that 58,000 rupees, you will get a finally 4,500,000. So 4,500,000 is what? Taxable income from business. So this is what the answer is. So I hope you understand. Thank you all. Jai Shri Gurudev.